$9,000 yielded $90,000 of revenue.
That's 10x ROAS. You're selling school supplies to now becoming a successful real estate investor, all while having a job. Can you walk us through how you got there?
The birth of my son really made me realize I want to do more. I started getting hungrier. My partner has had experience in the wholesale industry, and I saw some of the numbers. I was like, holy shit, man, like you can make some real money here. And then March came, dry spell, month and a half. I'm getting worried. Marketing dollars are being spent. The bet was, if this does not work in 4 to 5 months, we might be out of business. I decided if I'm placing a bet, I'm doing it on you.
I appreciate that.
The biggest assignment deal that we've had to date, $50,000. We've actually decreased our cost per contract by 44%.
It's just smooth sailing, everything's perfect.
I've had to bring in the bulldogs, the lawyers, and threaten to sue a seller the day before.
Hey guys, my name is Benjamin. Today I'm with one of my clients, Jorge Severio, on the Bolt Deals podcast. Jorge, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Ben.
So you started off doing magic tricks, you're selling Pokemon cards and baseball cards, and you're selling school supplies to now becoming a successful real estate investor, all while having a job. Can you walk us through how you got there?
Wow, there's a lot of dots to connect in this story, but I'll start with ever since I was a kid, I guess something innately inside me wanted to put on a performance for folks. And another part of me wanted to build a business, I guess. I didn't really know it back then, but I was 5 years old, 6 years old, doing magic shows for the people in the neighborhood. And I would make little business cards from cardboard paper, and I would charge like 25 cents for folks to come and see me perform. And that graduated to selling baseball cards, first, second grade, selling school supplies, you name it, and I was selling it. And then during high school, I sold sandwiches.
Okay.
So there was always, I guess, a part of me that wanted a little entrepreneur fire inside. And then once I graduated high school, I started a nutrition company. I was working for a nutrition company at the time. And I started an e-commerce nutrition company. This was way back when, probably 20 years ago. And from there, that ended up not working out. And then I went the safe route.
Okay.
So I had a year left of college. I was on a free ride at Florida International University. I had done well in school. And I just decided to look up what are the best career choices. I landed in consulting. And that took me through a whole 15-year journey of consulting for the U.S. federal government.
Wow.
And working at multiple tech startups as well. And then that has catapulted to me wanting to also build something on the side. So that little entrepreneur inside, we dig right back at him. He never was dormant. He never left, right? He was just, I guess, asleep inside me. And he woke up once I started turning 40.
Okay.
I know I'm aging myself here, but once I started hitting 40, I started realizing, hey, I need to build more, right? And the entrepreneur started coming out again. And so I said, what can I get into? And I've always had a thing for real estate.
Okay.
And that's, I guess, what got me to where I am here.
So you started off as an entrepreneur, you went the corporate route, and then you're going back into business, right? So where does that entrepreneur bug come from? How did that stem and arise?
Yeah. So I've pretty much, I would say I've reached the point in my career. I'm a director of cybersecurity for a great tech startup on the West Coast.
Nice.
And I realized that I've sort of reached the salary cap, I would say. So that's where the motivation really came from.
Okay.
Right? How can I make more money for my family?
Okay.
Right? I think that was one of the main driving factors, right? And I have a beautiful 19-month-old son.
Congrats.
And I think with his birth, the entrepreneur inside started kicking a little harder and started saying, hey, what else can you do to build wealth for your family? Because let's face it, having a 9-to-5 job, especially now in this economy, everything's gotten very expensive. It just wasn't enough, right? I have a decent salary. I have a stable paycheck, and I'm still very much committed to that job, and I have integrity. I like to do a good job at whatever I do.
Mhm.
Um, but I needed something more, and I
Okay.
wanted something that can scale. And I
Uh-huh.
know that building a real estate business and investing in real estate is something that can scale.
What eventually got you to pivot and become interested in real estate and ultimately pursue it?
Um, let's go back to the COVID days. I started getting the itch in real estate during the COVID days. I think I was somehow I landed on Bigger Pockets forum,
Okay.
and I started doing a lot of research on flipping, on investing. I read some of the books, I
Mhm.
heard some of the podcasts, I watched way too many YouTube videos, and I was like, I could do this stuff. So I reached out to my partner now, a very good friend of mine from high school, and just said, hey, I want to get into this. He's been in the industry for some time, and we looked at doing some new builds.
Mm.
Okay, probably wasn't the right choice at the time.
Wow.
um
As a beginner,
as a beginner,
to
yeah.
dive straight into new builds.
Dive straight into a new
Wow.
build, yeah. And on the west coast of Florida, on top of that. But I think the point there is that's really what got me started. And then I realized, hey, there's something here in real estate. Um, and I was also trading stocks at the same time.
Okay.
Okay. As we know, that's a huge gamble.
Yeah.
And you could make money doing that if you're very methodical, I would
Just
say.
shares or like
Shares, options, some
okay.
of the risky stuff. Okay.
Okay.
I did okay in the beginning. In the beginning, I think I had beginner's luck,
Yeah.
but I wanted something that was more stable, something I could build over time. Just like you can buy, I mean, the right thing to do is buy shares in good companies,
Yeah.
Apple, Nvidia,
Not
etc.
today. Everything crashed today. I don't know if you saw.
Oh, really? Oh
Yeah.
gosh.
Yeah.
No, let's not look.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
really bad.
I'm not gonna look for a couple days.
Yeah.
Um, and, just set it and forget it strategy.
Yeah.
And the same thing, set it and forget it with stocks, is that's what I found valuable by real estate. That's
Mm.
something that interested me about real estate.
Okay.
It could grow over time.
Mhm. Okay, cool. And then eventually you dove straight into real estate. Did you start with new builds? Did you like how did you ultimately stumble across like flipping or wholesaling?
That's a great question. So the new build did not end up working out.
Okay.
Punchline. Okay.
Okay. What happened
We
there?
we Cape Coral, Florida,
Okay.
hurricane. And then we also had, the developer also had the feds show up to his office. Apparently, I found out about that. I don't know what happened there, but before that
Uh-huh.
happened, we were able to get out of it, break even. We sold it to the guy that found it for us. It's this company that I'm not going to name them, but it's this company that provides a service of finding homes, like turnkey properties. Okay,
Okay.
one of the main investors in that company bought it from us,
Okay.
and we were able to get out break even.
I see.
Thank God. I think to this day, 5 years later, that home has still not been built.
Wow.
Yeah, but I didn't give up. So I kind of stayed away from real estate for a little bit. I had some major losses in the stock market, so I stayed away from that for a little bit. And then what resurfaced was the birth of my son really made me realize, like, I want to do more. I started getting hungrier.
Okay.
And that's when real estate came back into the picture. I think I always wanted to do something in real estate. It just stayed dormant for a little bit. After that, kind of failure, I would say, but still learning experience. And then my partner has had experience in the wholesale industry, and I saw some of the numbers. And I
Okay.
was like, it's like, holy shit, man! Like you can make some real money here,
Yeah.
right? And so I started looking into it, and normal me fashion, I watched a plethora of YouTube videos,
Mhm.
um, and and just decided, hey, let's start a real estate wholesale company.
So ultimately your partner who you were friends with in high school
Yep.
is the reason why you got into real estate.
Yes, I would say the main reason.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yep.
And then walk us through the beginning. What was the beginning of scaling and starting the wholesaling business like?
A lot of research. I joined a very good community, Results Driven, by
Okay.
Tiffany and
Tiff, yeah.
Josh. Yep. And I, just started learning the ins and outs, I
Uh-huh.
would say. What I love about Tiffany and Josh is that I think Tiffany came from the corporate world as well. And so she's very familiar with processes or whatnot.
Uh-huh.
It's a very process driven
Yeah.
program.
Yeah.
And I love that because I spent 15 years in my career building teams for, building high performing teams for tech companies.
Okay.
Um, and I'm very process oriented. So I started building out the systems and the frameworks. And look, at the end of the day, let's be honest. Like you just have to get on the phone and talk to sellers.
What
Nothing's gonna
what
take
type of
away from that experience.
what type of systems and processes were you building, especially starting out?
So I wanted to make sure that we had our lead generation, our acquisitions, and our disposition processes
Mm-hmm.
at least penciled,
Okay.
even though sometimes what you pencil you don't follow at all.
Exactly.
But I at least wanted to make sure that we had that and that we had a plan for marketing because we're in one of the toughest counties in the nation. I would say Miami-Dade
Yeah.
County, South
Yeah.
Florida.
Yeah.
So I at least wanted a plan. Sometimes I overplan, but thankfully I have my partner there
Mhm.
to balance this out. And we decided to start off with direct mail
Okay.
because I had seen enough videos and talked to enough people where we kind of figured out the KPIs and we thought it would be the best entry point.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that we did, which I think was very smart, was plan enough budget for direct mail for 6 months.
Okay.
Because
Okay. So what did you watch or what influenced you to do direct mail? Because there's tons
yeah,
of marketing channels out there. Why direct mail specifically?
honestly, I think I threw a dart at the wall and it was either direct mail or PPC, and I was scared of PPC.
Why?
Well, in that market, from the people that I had talked to, and again, I was just building connections and networking in this industry 9 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
But from the people that I had talked to, and from what my partner's experience, PPC was very challenging, and
Okay.
for a lot of people, it had not worked out well.
Okay.
And so we decided maybe we don't go that route in the beginning.
Uh-huh.
But I think I always knew in the back of my mind we're going to try it out. You can't succeed with just one. I mean, you could succeed with just one
Yeah.
marketing channel. I know people that do,
Yeah.
and successfully. But direct mail seemed like a safer, longer term
Okay.
bet.
Walk us
Yeah.
through that. Okay, so you signed up with a PP or a direct mail agency or a company that does direct mail. What was that process like? What happened there?
So sorry, I laugh because the fir- I'm not gonna mention any names here, but the first company that we picked was absolutely terrible. And I noticed 1 month in that I had made a mistake, and that was scary because
What happened to make you realize that it was a mistake?
so when you're quality checking your lists from your white glove direct mail service provider, there's something wrong. There was a lot of quality issues, um, and I think uh, my my belief is that we were assigned an account rep that was new to the industry, new to the company. Um, but we had several calls with them, and we found several mistakes in the mailings, several mistakes in the lists, and we weren't getting the results that we should have been getting. Um, and I said, I can't like I have to. I came to a decision point of I need to make. I need to either stick with this company and just like wait it out, or take a leap of faith and go find someone else.
Okay. What did you do?
I took a leap of faith and I found someone else because we only had so much runway, right? You build yourself like not necessarily. I mean, relatively, we were spending a very small amount compared to what others spend in the Miami-Dade County market, but it was still not a small amount, right? We were spending $10,000 a month,
Yeah.
okay, which is not a small amount, but it is in I guess Miami-Dade County market ratios. But we only had so much wiggle room and so much room to and runway.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, I said, well, let's find another company, and we started researching. And I I forget how. I think it was on Bigger Pockets, but I connected with the individual that runs a company that provides us a service now, and I just kind of hit it off.
Mm.
You know
Okay.
when you have a really good gut feeling about
Yeah.
someone, um, and they have a successful wholesale company as well. It's a small company. They only had 18 clients at the time. They have more now. And to me, it just felt like the right move. Plus,
Okay.
their marketing material was a little bit different than the rest,
Okay.
not just your typical postcard.
Okay.
Yes.
And then walk us through how that went, results wise. What numbers? What
Oh
happened
man,
there?
that is going well.
Okay.
So first month, I think we found a deal. Um, the first month we found a deal, which was better than no deals.
Hmm.
With the 2 months that we were at with the 2 months that we had spent with the other company, and then with this company, we were already getting some deals. So that first deal, right?
Okay.
Was amazing. That was exciting. I was like,
Yeah.
hey, we made the right move. It's like validation that you made the right move.
Hmm.
And it's been great.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any numbers? Do you know how many leads you're getting on a daily basis? How many postcards you have to send to get that? How many of them convert into conversations or
Yeah.
appointments?
Yeah.
Anything like that?
Yeah. So I ran the numbers recently, and I think this year we've gotten about 230 leads, something like that,
Okay.
from direct mail. Um, some of the leads are good and high quality. Some are tire kickers. Remember, these people are getting your postcard. They didn't ask for it, and some of them are just not looking to sell their property, and some are just bored. But I think we've had a decent amount of success, and I think it's a part of it is attributed to it's a different type of mailer that's being sent out.
Okay.
So we're getting an above average response rate for the industry.
Okay.
Okay. Versus I talked to some folks that are just doing postcards, for example, and they're not getting the response rate that we're getting. It's in the same county. They operate in the same county.
Okay.
So was working decent there, and then we nailed deals in December and January. We started off the year very strong. Okay, and then March came
Of this year?
of this year.
Okay.
Okay, March came and dry spell,
Hmm. Okay.
month and a half. I'm getting worried. Marketing dollars are being spent. My acquisitions guy is not getting paid. And the cash conversion cycle, right? So if we go a month and a half without locking up a contract, he's not getting paid for about 75 days.
Yeah.
That's tough. He also has a young child as well. So after about 4 weeks, I said, I need to do something. I need to take action and do something.
So when you brought that up to your direct mail company that nothing was coming in, how did they go about that?
So Tim was pretty responsive, and we sat down and we worked through some changes to make. We changed some of the list. We looked at some of the metrics and KPIs,
Yeah.
and we implemented those changes, and it has since been better.
Okay.
So we looked at the data, which is very important, by the way. We looked at the data, and that allowed us to identify opportunities for improvement, and Tim was great and implemented those. And direct mail takes some time to pick up,
Hmm.
so it took us about a month and a half, and then eventually we started seeing some better results from them.
Okay. And then going back, you said you had a dry spell that took a month and a half. How did you go about that with the team? Especially because you have an acquisition manager who's got a kid on the way.
Yeah, so we try to keep ourselves preoccupied.
Okay.
Tried to improve the processes that we already had. Tried to set up automations. We're doing a lot of stuff with AI as much as we can, as
Okay.
much as our
Like what?
capacity allows us.
What are you guys trying to do?
That's a good question. So one of the things that we did was build automated workflows
Okay.
to send out SMS text messages, to automatically respond, to automatically move leads into a certain state. Another thing that we've done is build a deal analyzer.
Oh, okay. Like an underwriter?
Yes,
Okay. Tell me more.
yes.
I'm actually curious. Okay.
So, I mean, look, not very different than going on a spreadsheet and doing it, right? But I used very big fan of Cloud Code.
Me too.
So I use Cloud Code based off of a GitHub page, and it's very easy, accessible to the entire team. And you could just go in there and add in, your purchase price, your MAO, your rehab, etc. And then it uses some logic as well behind the scenes to tell you if it's a tight deal, if it's a no go, if it's a go, etc. So there's some visuals as well.
Okay.
Small little thing we did there.
Okay.
Thank you, Cloud Code. And then this is the one that I'm most proud of. It's not live yet, but I've built a training bot, an
Okay.
acquisition training bot,
Okay.
which has multiple seller persona, multiple scenarios that you can run to, multiple difficulty levels as well. And it allows us to practice. I've been using it.
Okay.
Yeah. And it allows us to practice. So we did improve their workflows. We have a trainer bot, um, and the deal analyzer, which is critical.
Tell me, because I'm curious about the training bot. Did you just upload your previous recordings and tell it to like, hey, give us examples of this, or how'd you do that?
So back and forth iterating with Claude,
Uh-huh.
we determine, different seller personas like the distressed seller, the probate seller,
Oh, I see.
foreclosure, etc. And then we set up actual characters,
Okay.
like Dennis or
That's
Lauren,
funny.
etc. Um, and there's a coaching mechanism as well.
Okay.
So it's a brand new tool, that we've built, but it's helpful. And there's live. It's live. It's
Okay.
it's it's a voice, right? So you're interacting with the seller via voice. It's a voice trainer,
Okay.
and you can select an option to get coaching or not.
Okay.
And so you can go through a dry run seller call, right, based on the different scenarios, and then after that you'll have basically a coach tell you how you did.
Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
And did you build anything else?
Um, that's it for now, but I do have some very big and lofty plans in mind, because I think I want to switch CRMs.
Oh, so you're just gonna build your own CRM?
Yes.
I want to ask you this. A lot of wholesalers that I speak to, especially people starting out, are always like, hey, I need the best CRM, or, they don't have any leads,
Yeah.
nobody to talk to, but they're always just obsessed with CRMs because it's
Yeah.
like the first tool you hop on. What is your advice?
That's a good question, and I think we did not cheap out on CRM at the beginning.
Okay.
For example, Go High Level is cheaper than Resimply, but we felt that Resimply had a bunch of the
Yeah.
components,
It's
and
really good.
I didn't want to waste time and effort and energy into the CRM
Yeah.
and making it better. I just wanted it to like do what you do,
Yeah.
help us manage our leads, and Resimply does all of that out of the
Yeah. It's
box.
really nice. It's a
So to
really
me, it
nice
was
CRM.
like, okay, I think we pay like $450 a month, and to me, it was worth it doing
Mhm.
that. Now, you could use. I did actually experiment and ran an evaluation with multiple CRMs. Go High Level is fantastic. I also tried out X Leads
Okay.
from Zach Ginn, and his dad. I forgot his dad's name. But that's also a pretty good tool. They've taken basically Go High Level and customized it for real estate wholesale. And it was good, but recently just nailed everything and
Yeah.
we didn't have to worry about it.
I think it's great as well because I have a
Yeah.
bunch of other clients that are on it as well. So
Recently?
what?
Yeah.
So whenever I ask them for like a report or something, they just screenshot it
Yeah.
and send it over to me, and I'm like, oh my god, this is amazing. So I absolutely love
It's good.
that as a CRM.
One thing, the reason that I want to have the vision of creating a home brewed CRM is because as great as Resimply is, there's one thing that I'll be honest about that I don't like,
Okay.
which is it's an enclosed system.
Yeah.
Okay. So if I wanted to, for example, go on Cloud Code, there's no MCP for me to connect to.
Yeah.
Meaning that what I want to be able to do is the freedom to use AI, any AI that I want, any LLM, have it integrate into my CRM and just say, hey, what are the leads that I should focus on this week?
Yeah.
Resimply has their own custom built AI bots and agents. And
Yeah.
like that's cool. They're valuable, but now they're charging a lot of money for them a month.
Yeah.
And there's still not enough freedom and flexibility to do that. And I'd love to just go on and say, hey, Claude, tell me which leads we haven't reached in the past 2 weeks that we need to focus on.
Yeah. So you basically wanted open sourced.
Yeah, basically.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Pivoting back to the dry spell, you were doing direct mail. It, it went dry basically. You didn't get any leads. What was going through your mind? Because you have responsibility. Because as a CEO, everybody wants the title of being a CEO,
Yeah.
but then they forget about the list of responsibilities
Yep.
that come with it. So
Yep.
how did you navigate that with your team? How did you ultimately get out of that?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I want to address the point that I feel like as the person that's 50% running the company. Obviously, my partner is running 50% as well. Um, I feel a commitment to my people,
Mhm.
and I genuinely really care about them. And I tell them, I'm gonna make you a lot of money. So during the reason I say this is for context. During that month and a half,
Mhm.
that sucked, and I knew they weren't getting paid, and obviously the business wasn't getting paid, and we're just spending money.
Yeah.
That was the catalyst for me saying, well, I need to do something. We need to explore another marketing channel.
Okay. How long did that go for until you were like, hey, we need to start talking to people?
That was about 4 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you go out. I'm assuming you got hit with a bunch of ads. Walk us through that.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't remember why, but PPC was the first thing that came to mind. Well, PPC and PPL.
Okay.
We weren't going to do cold calling.
Why
Okay.
not?
I mean, I think cold calling is great if you're starting out, but the response rate, the burnout rate, I didn't have team capacity to dedicate to that.
Okay.
Right? Sure, we could have probably gone down the VA route or whatnot, but I just didn't want to go down that route. I wanted something that gave better results.
Okay.
Okay, because I felt like I needed to take a decision that brought me leads quickly.
Okay.
Okay, because I wanted to get people paid.
Yeah.
Okay, so PPL, PPC, research a bunch of PPL companies, landed on three. Research a bunch of PPC companies, landed on three. And
Talk to me about the PPL side first.
okay.
I'm curious there.
PPL is interesting because it's almost like PPC. And where you're buying these leads and you're depositing a certain amount of money, and each company has their own methodology and way of going about it and technology behind it. And we found one that was pretty promising. But at the end of the day, um, you're generating leads and no one knows who you are,
Mm.
right? So
Okay.
you're generating an inbound lead and you have to start from scratch. That was one factor that I had to consider, right?
Yeah.
Versus, I'll paint the full picture. Versus with PPC, someone's landing on your web page or a derivative thereof, a
Yeah.
web form with your logo, your story. Mine has my story of why I started, etc. And I've had people, sellers, tell me, "Hey, I called you because of your story on your web form."
Wow.
So see, I made the right decision,
Yeah.
right? PPL is still there. I don't think PPL should be dismissed as a channel, right?
Mm.
I think when someone's doing PPL or any form of marketing, you need to give yourself enough runway for it to work. You
Hmm.
can't just say, "Hey, I'm going to do direct mail, throw $2,000 out there, and then say it doesn't work."
Yeah.
No, we know because these are proven marketing channels, right? We
Yeah.
know other people have done it. So look at the metrics. PPL, you probably want to get at least 30 leads, I would say. So budget for 30 leads.
Yeah.
And then the same with PPC. Give yourself a nice 4 to 6 month runway of marketing dollars. Yep.
Okay. But one thing, you didn't fully dive right into PPC. You've wanted to do PPC, but you're also pretty skeptical about it,
Yes.
right? Why?
Yeah. Well, I was skeptical about it because my partner has seen and I've heard from other people in the industry it's very difficult,
Okay.
especially in our county. I'm not sure how it is nationwide. I'm not sure how it is in other counties, but I know in South Florida, PPC is a beast,
Yeah.
okay? And it could make you or break you, I guess. I was very skeptical about it. I was also very scared. My partner didn't want to do it. But we felt like we needed a lifeline. We felt
Hmm.
like we needed to expand another marketing
Yeah.
channel.
What was your partner's experience with it?
Well, he's seen from the industry some bad results,
Okay.
right? Where you're just kind of like you're not getting the cost per contract that you need. You're
Hmm.
spending too much money, and it just ends up being like a marketing channel that's not worth pursuing.
Do you think that the bad results that he's seeing, do you think it stems from the agency not being good or the operator not having the experience to manage those leads based off of your experience thus far?
PPC is like an engine, right?
Yeah.
If your internals are not oiled correctly,
Uh-huh.
then it's not going to work right. I think I'm not an expert on PPC, but I think it boils down to the management. It's so intricate. What keyword you use? Is it exact? Is it a broad phrase keyword? Right? So
Yeah.
how many campaigns do you have? And Google in and of itself over the past decades has made it so complex that it's an animal in and of itself. But that's when I think in the back of my mind, I knew I needed someone that knew how to dominate that, because not everyone's going to give the same results.
Yeah,
100%.
100%. You're absolutely right. Because of the fact that you were skeptical, I'm curious what your expectations were eventually signing on and getting into it. I'm also want to understand,
Yeah.
because of the fact you mentioned you're speaking with 3 companies, why did you eventually choose and settle on us?
That's a good question. So I had my expectations were very minimal. I basically went in with the expectation that it was going to take us 2 months, that we were just going to burn money for 2 months.
Where'd you get that
And
expectation from?
I think I was reading that Google's algorithm takes a little bit to
Yeah.
kind of optimize
Yeah.
or whatnot. I mean, you tell me, is that true
So,
or?
I mean, it's a strong, it's a 60 days. There's so many variables that come into it, because the way that I look at it whenever I'm trying to bring on a client, I I want to get them their first contract and deal within the first 4 to 6 weeks.
Okay.
Because I know that if I can do that, the amount of momentum, the amount of confidence and compliance that they would have with us, in the sense where it's like, hey, if I tell them like, hey, we should do this, they're going to say yes, is a lot
Right.
higher, which helps us when it comes to scaling them more aggressively. Um, yes, 60 days is a solid expectation. But I try to aim to be in 30 days or less to get at
Okay.
least that first contract, because
Okay.
there are metrics that, like, I know after doing this for 6 years, that if we assist you in hitting them, for example, if we send you 10 leads, we want you to get at least one contract out of that.
Right.
If you get one contract or one deal out of that, you probably will never leave me. Like, it's
Right.
not even a question, right?
Right.
So if I know that that's the average, I just need to make sure that the budget, everything, all the other leading indicators, how much are we spending, what markets are we in, things like that, is in place. Because if I don't hit those numbers, or if I vet you and you're like, okay, you're too new, you've never closed a deal before, and you don't hit those numbers, you're not going to stay with me for a while. So it's a good expectation, to give us the breathing room that we need to actually get you the results, right? Because if I tell you,
Yep.
hey, it takes you 60 days to get your first deal, and then you get it in 30, or in this case, what? How long did it take for you to get a deal?
1 week.
Exactly, a week. You're like, oh my God, you're the best person in the world.
Yeah.
But if I told you,
Yeah.
hey, it takes you 1 week to get your first deal, and it actually ends up taking you 2 weeks or even a month, you're like, oh, you overpromised, right?
Right.
So that's personally my experience. So I mean, I was curious.
Yeah, I mean, and that's a good expectation to set. And so I the way we figured it was, let's throw out a budget of like 8 grand plus management fee for like 4 months or
Uh-huh.
4 or 5 months,
Yeah,
and let's see how it goes.
yeah,
And it's a bet, it's a gamble, right?
hmm,
It's like, let's just see how it goes. And the biggest part of that bet, before jumping in, is who's going to do this for me.
yeah,
I need to pick the right people,
yeah,
because you only really get one shot.
yeah.
You don't want to start building a campaign 2 months into already spending 20 grand on another campaign.
No, it's a very bad idea.
Yeah.
One thing I want to add is that you weren't the only person in this decision. It was your partner as well, and he
Yes.
was the one that's been told by people that PPC does, or
Yep.
didn't work out for people, etc. So how did you guys ultimately come together and be like, hey, this is something you want to do?
Yeah.
Because the challenge that most people have, myself included, is that if someone tells me something is not good,
Mhm.
but the back of my head is like, I know that it's what I need to do, I'll eventually find a way. But that's just me. How did you guys convince each other that this was the right move?
Well, thankfully, I have a very open-minded partner, I
That's
would
good.
say.
Mhm.
Yeah. He's very supportive, and even though he was more skeptical than I was, I think he trusted in the research that I did.
Mhm.
Um,
What research did you do?
so a little bit of background, coming from the tech world and coming from the consulting world as well, I have a lot of experience doing, software evaluation, evaluating vendors for security risk, but also meeting, requirements for the organization or whatnot. So I brought some of that to the table when picking a service provider for
Okay.
PPC. It boiled down to a recommendation from results driven. Um, Another company that's very reputable in the industry.
Okay.
Okay. And then your ads.
Okay.
You got me. You
Okay.
got me with your ads. They were good. I mean, you hooked me with your ads. And to me, if you've hooked me with your ads, you're doing something right. So I said,
Okay.
I need to have a conversation with these guys.
Uh-huh. Do you remember what chat? Off
I
the
think
top
it
of your
was the
head?
one like, hey, can you hear me?
Oh, okay. I know which one you're talking. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, when you're turning around on a stool, I think it is, and like,
Yeah.
hey,
Yeah.
can you
Yeah.
hear me?
Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, you have a lot of ads, and I saw a bunch of them. I think what's the good old marketing heuristic? Like you have to see an ad 7 or 8 times or
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
for it to resonate.
Yeah. Touch points.
And I said I have to talk to these guys because you do a really good job with your ads. I'm like, well, if he does a good job with this, and I need someone to run my ads,
Yeah.
I need to talk to them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's the saying like you wouldn't get sales coaching from a guy that can't close you, right?
absolutely. Yeah,
So, okay. So you
yeah.
booked a call, you spoke with Joe, I'm sure, right? One of my partners. Do you remember on the phone?
I think so. So much has happened in the past. Thanks to you. So much has happened in the past month and a half. I don't even remember. I think I did speak with Joe. I remember speaking with you,
Mhm.
and I liked that
Oh, okay.
because remember I'm coming from having a bad experience with direct mail. That experience drastically shifted when I turned to a company that where I had direct access to the owner of the company.
Yeah.
And so to me, when I have direct access to the person that runs the company,
Mhm.
it means a lot.
Yeah.
Plus, I've also had businesses in the past. I have a business now. I've had businesses in the past. I've made a lot of mistakes in the past. And to me, I think a business is only as good as the person that runs it. So it meant a lot to me to be able to have access and hear from the person that started everything.
Absolutely. So a big thing for me is that I value working with my clients personally because I know everybody's story. I know what their goals are, what their real motivation is, like where they're trying to go, things like that. And as a result, because of the fact that I'm able to build that relationship with my clients, typically I perform a lot better because, mind you, back in 2024, I mean, we had a lot of clients, right? And
Yeah.
mind you, I had everything delegated. People were like, I didn't even have to show up, right? The most work I would do would be like speaking to the CFO or like sending in new ads or like that's about it, right? And I realized how miserable I was
Mhm.
because mind you, what 2 years ago I'm 19. I was 2 years yeah, I was 19, right? I'm bringing all these clients. I don't know any of my clients, but I see that this guy's giving me a testimonial and I feel so like weird because I don't have that attachment to them.
Yeah.
So as a result, we actually scaled down, trimmed the fat. I mean, I made a lot of mistakes. I've learned about what happens when I bring on the right client versus the wrong client,
Right.
what the right client looks like, what my ideal client looks like versus what my not ideal client looks like, and what impact that makes on us as a company, which is why we're so like
Yeah.
invested in making sure that we're bringing on the right people.
Right.
And the best way to do that is by actually speaking to my clients, right?
Yeah.
To your customers. So I guess going back to you, what were you looking for in a marketing partner to know like who to move forward with?
Well, without asking someone for the secrets, right? Because
Yeah.
it's hard to reveal the secret sauce. I mean, I guess you don't want to. I was really trying to understand how they would manage, or what the approach would be.
Okay.
Okay, what the approach would be, and if they're willing to show me some transparency,
Okay.
show me some ad accounts that you're managing,
Okay.
right? You don't have to show me the customer data,
Yeah.
right? But show me some performance metrics, man.
Okay.
Give me a little screenshot or something. Um, and so that was one of them. Two was any other supplementary services, but that was just nice to have, like having a an educational aspect of it,
Yeah.
or any like sales training material, something that I can hand over to my folks.
Uh-huh.
Um, but those were some of the main aspects. Like, show me how you are going to manage this. How are you going to do it differently than other people? Remember, the bet here was big. The bet was, if this does not work in 4 to 5 months, we might be out of business,
Yeah.
right?
Okay. Absolutely. So ultimately, when it came to I because I do remember showing you ad accounts,
You did.
obviously
I love
blocking
that. Yeah.
blocking out the client.
Yep.
Um, but we were not the only company you were speaking to,
Hmm.
right? So I
Yeah.
guess the question I have, and this is more so feedback for me, is that how much of your decision making was actually the offer and the, I guess, pitch, presentation, whatever you want to call it,
Uh-huh.
and trust in me? Because I know you, I mean, I remember you telling me you found me on a podcast too. So I'm
Yeah.
curious about that.
Yeah. So I was going back and forth, man, to be very honest with you. I was going back and forth between you and another company, okay?
Okay, I remember.
Um yeah. And the transparency aspect of it absolutely swayed me in one way, and sometimes I could be extreme with things. So I had a whole list of like pros and cons of both companies, and sometimes you get into analysis paralysis.
Yeah.
Um, but at the end of the day, I'm lying back in my couch at night, and I turn on YouTube, and your podcast with Steve Trang
Oh, okay.
pops up, and I was like, hey, let me watch this. Especially if he's gonna be running my ads. I was like really motivated. Like who is Ben? And started watching it, and the more I learned about like your life story, and I was so impressed.
I appreciate that.
I was so impressed because I I once was 20 years old and had a business that failed, and have an entrepreneur inside, and I saw what you accomplished in, what was it, like 6 years or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was impressed by, what you said, your energy, um, the fact that, you're on disruptors, right?
Yeah.
But I decided if I'm placing a bet, I'm doing it on you.
I appreciate that.
Um, and like I am, like like I am. You're not paying me to say this. I am
Yeah.
being as honest as I can be. I told my partner, I think Ben is the guy to place the bet on,
I appreciate that.
and we went for it, and here we are.
Did he have any pushback on it?
He did mention a couple of things, a couple of pros from the other provider. They have a very good training program that was going to be included for free as well. But at the end of the day, auxiliary, that shouldn't be the critical decision factor, right? Like
I
any
see.
auxiliary training, you can get training anywhere, right?
100%. 100%.
So we just decided, let's place the bet on the company that focuses on doing this the best, the one that reeled me in, the one where I'm, compelled by the leader because of what they've
I
accomplished.
appreciate that.
And there's also something about, I think that this wasn't the determining factor, but I think there's also something about the young energy, which
Okay.
I'm trying to reharness, being 40 years old.
Yeah.
I'm trying to bring that 20-year-old in me back again.
Uh-huh.
A young energy of like, I could just do anything.
Yeah.
Man, I just had belief in you, dude. Like I'm getting goosebumps right now. Like I
I
just had
appreciate that.
beliefs in you, and thankfully it's worked out because
Um,
it could have been catastrophic.
yeah.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. That obviously to me means a lot because, when I speak with clients, I can talk about the numbers. I can show people all the ad accounts and I can show you all that all day long. But ultimately, what I've noticed about the clients that I enjoy working with the most is that we have a resonation in how we operate as people.
Yeah.
For example, like you're able to make this work while having a 9 to 5, while having a newborn, like all these things
Yeah.
going on in your life,
Yep.
right? And for me, obviously, I'm not there yet. Like I don't have kids yet, right? So seeing that, I think when we are both aligned in our values and how we operate, I think that's what I think a good partnership looks like.
100%.
So,
Yeah.
so you signed up with us. Walk us through that process. What was the onboarding? What was all that like? Take
Yeah,
me through the
onboarding was
details.
good. I remember, I remember getting slides of what to expect, which was awesome.
Mhm.
Kind of gives you the lay of the land. It's great that you onboard. I'm
Mhm.
assuming like not everybody has a process of onboarding,
Yeah.
so it was good that you set expectations. You guys were flexible as well,
Mhm.
because our acquisition manager was out for about a week, I think, on vacation. So you gave me a little bit of flexibility on start time.
Yeah.
And then I met Matthew, and we had an introductory call, and
How's the
we
call with
got
Matt?
started. Oh, no, it was good. I
I
mean,
think you apparently Matt really likes you guys.
yeah, Matt's great. I
Yeah.
mean, again, like I'm super thankful for Matt. I don't have to worry about PPC. And to me, that means the world, because there are so many things that could go wrong in this business. From, we were just on a call with the seller, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, with the buyer, and the seller was giving us a hard time. I've had to bring in the bulldogs, the lawyers, and threaten to sue a seller the day before closing. There are so many things in this industry that require time and energy. And like you mentioned, I have a beautiful wife, a beautiful family, a beautiful 19-month-year-old.
Mhm.
That takes time and energy to be a good dad,
Yeah.
right? To make sure I fulfill my dad duties. And then my job, I also have a lot of integrity. Like
Yeah.
I am not going to do a bad job in my job, right?
Yeah.
Um, And so to not have to worry about PPC, being a person that is so meticulous, and I could be a pain in the ass client, man. I know probably some other agencies hate me, but
No, you're
I'm
not.
I'm in I'm in the weeds. Like I get into the weeds. I like to see how things work. I log into the Google account. Yeah, I did in the first 3 days.
Yeah.
Okay, and we got a contract the first week. And then since then, you guys have just kept us busy. But I haven't had to log in since.
Yeah.
That means everything. I know Matt's got it,
Yeah.
and he's available for a call anytime. I mean,
Yeah.
we have communications via, the Slack,
Yeah.
and if something's like going wrong or, I forgot like the smallest
Yeah.
change. It's
Yeah.
volatile, right?
Yeah.
Like it's normal to expect, and you as the expert, right? Like it's normal to expect volatility in
Yeah.
PPC,
100%.
So I freak out at the time we have
Especially in
like
the
low
first week.
impressions.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Matt's always there, right?
Yeah.
So Matt's there. I know he's got it. And that's to me that means everything, right? Now I get to focus on all the other stuff we have to deal with.
Walk us through the process. We launch the ads, lead comes in. What is that experience? What was that? What was the flow? What was the process like?
I think we started getting so one, we wanted to have our internal processes ready because we
Mhm.
were expecting an increased lead volume. Okay.
Yeah.
We were getting about 40-ish leads a month already from direct mail. Granted, we were coming off the dry period. So we wanted to make sure we had these leads are highly motivated,
Mhm.
some of them, okay.
Yeah.
More than direct mail, I would
Yeah.
say, okay. And we wanted to make sure that we had everything set up in terms of like the automations, sending out. We have a brochure. We just created a brochure, a nice little
Okay.
fancy brochure. We send it out digitally as well. Hey, meet the team. It has a team, so you can see, the person that you're going to meet with the acquisition manager. Make it
Yeah.
more human. Okay.
Mhm.
So I want to make sure we had that in, and then everyone knew this is firefight mode. Okay, we're going to be drinking from the fire hose, and we did. And we were all on deck. But you get to see it from the progression of week 1 to week 2. You could see it in the numbers as well. And that deal that we landed in week 2, oh boy, the biggest assignment deal that we've had to date,
Really?
$50,000.
Wow.
Week 2, man. Um, and we played that so perfectly. Like,
Tell me about that
when
deal.
you have an
Now I want to
amazing
know.
game, what's your favorite sport?
I play soccer.
Soccer. Okay,
Yeah.
so when you have an amazing game of soccer, how good does it feel?
It feels
Like you
amazing.
did so good,
Yeah.
right?
Hat tricks. Yeah.
So that was that deal. We were on it like a hawk. They didn't pick up the first time or the second
Take
time.
us from the beginning. A lead
Yep.
came in. You can even say their first name because it's closed now, right?
Yep.
Walk us through that process. Like,
Tamika, I will never forget Tamika.
okay.
So a lead came in this area, decently hot and up and coming area, okay, in South Florida. And automatically, when a lead comes in, we have recently set up with a specific phone number for bulk deals, okay? And that phone number allows us to set up automations immediately.
Okay.
So that lead gets a text message, an intro from us. Hey, this is so and so. Depends who's on acquisition duties, but let's say, hey, this is the acquisition manager. We're going to reach out to you to discuss your property. Thank you for filling out the web form, whatever.
Mhm.
They get an email.
Okay.
Okay, they get an email explaining the company, linking to our Google reviews, linking to Better Business Bureau. We do whatever we can to start building credibility off the bat.
Okay.
Okay, immediately, like a hawk, right? Because if they're filling out one web form, they might be filling out another one when they're
Exactly.
getting our emails. And then immediately within 60 seconds, that's our SLA, right? Within 60 seconds, we want to make sure we call them,
Yeah.
and sometimes they don't pick up.
Okay.
But that's pretty much
So
the
let's
strategy.
say they, you're lucky, you double dial them, they answer on the second dial.
Mhm.
What is that first initial conversation like? Is it by you? Is it by a lead manager?
So that really depends. So right now, our team is 4 people, so
Okay.
we're relatively small. We have a hybrid model where either the lead manager, which is also does disposition. So we have our folks wear many hats, right?
Yeah.
Small business wear many
Yeah.
hats. Sometimes the acquisition manager takes a call. Sometimes the lead manager takes a call. But whichever role takes the call, it's discovery first.
Okay.
Let's qualify the lead. Let's talk about the property.
What's your
Let's
process for qualifying a lead, especially on the first call?
well,
What are you
first
looking
we
for?
like to talk about pain point.
Okay.
Okay, so what's the reason for selling?
Okay.
Just to understand the underlying reason.
Mhm.
The entire goal of everything is, the company's called Buying Hero, right? We're here to help.
Yeah.
A lot of folks are in distressed situations. Okay, And so we genuinely want to learn why someone is looking to sell their home.
Mhm.
Then obviously the details of the home, what needs repair, etc., so that we can get to our, so we can eventually get to our numbers. But the discovery call is basically just learning about the home, the details of the home, and then learning about the seller's pain point and learning about the timeline.
Mm.
Are you looking to sell in the next 30 to 60 days?
Okay.
If it's more than 60 days, we might not count it as a qualified lead.
Mhm. Correct.
Um, and then also if they're the decision maker or
Yeah.
who the decision makers are, that's also very important.
Yeah. Okay. And
Uh,
then from there, they're qualified. What happens? Do they go straight for a one call close? Does it get pinged to an acquisition
so
manager?
for this lead, I'm sorry, I think I went off track again.
No, you're good.
You had asked me about this specific lead. For this lead, we didn't reach her until like the third call. Okay.
Okay.
And but it was like perfect execution. Like we did two calls within, I guess, the first 2 minutes. And then it was either the third or the fourth call. And it was the lead manager that had done the calls. And then the acquisitions manager picked up the baton and said, all right, well, I'm going to make some calls like within the next hour. And finally we got to her. And I think I think our acquisition manager is a godsend. He's absolutely amazing.
Okay.
He's been in the real estate industry for 15 years. He has a lot of experience, but he's really good at building a connection with people.
This is your acquisition manager, not your partner.
Mac was the acquisition manager. Yeah.
I'm curious how you found this guy. I know we're gonna go off topic, but this is
Yeah.
me, and then we can circle
Let's
back.
do it.
Yeah.
I love going off topic.
How'd you
Apparently,
find this guy? And the reason why I ask is because so many wholesalers,
Mhm.
myself included, like when I started a business, you the CEO, you're the only salesperson, right? And then you get to a point where you get so many leads or you have another responsibility that you're like, dude, I need to hire an
Yeah.
acquisitions person.
Yep.
But hiring an acquisition, training them and ramping them up to speed is incredibly difficult.
Yep.
Right. From my experience, I went an entire year to try and find a salesperson that was actually qualified
Yeah.
to represent the company is the way that I
bet.
look at
Wow.
it. Right.
Wow.
So I'm curious for you, like,
Yeah.
how did you find this guy?
I bet that's an interesting story there. I think we got lucky. So I found him through my partner, which had met him I think through some networking event. I'm not 100% sure, but I remember him telling me that he had a really good gut feeling about him.
Mm.
And since I do have other responsibilities on the side and I'm kind of doing this, I would say part-time, but also full-time. I don't think I barely sleep very much. Um, I I always knew from the beginning that we wanted to build a system. So I knew we didn't want a really big team, but I knew we needed a dedicated acquisition person,
Okay.
and I knew we needed a dedicated lead manager. Um, and my partner said that he had a really good gut feeling about this guy. And eventually, we interviewed him. We said,
Do
"Hey,
you know how your partner found him?
I don't remember.
No. Okay.
No, I don't remember. I think it was through connections.
Okay.
I know that he went to the same high school that
Okay.
we went to, so it could have been through like an alumni networking
I
event or
see.
group.
Okay.
Yeah, and lo and behold, I mean, he's got 15 years of experience as a realtor. So that's a wholesaling and being a realtor, very different things. But there's foundational transferable skills.
Yep.
Okay. And I had a really good feeling on our first chat, and we just said, "Hey, we need help." Okay.
Nice.
So it wasn't a here's your job description and you're gonna be, 9 to 5. It more started off like we've got lead overflow, more than we can deal with at that time. And we need someone to take on like a full-time role. So I can start stepping away and start focusing on growing the business a little bit more.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, and my partner, he did some training sessions with him, brought him into the fold, and he just took off running.
Wow.
Day one, he closed. He locked in a deal. His
Whoa.
first day. His
Wow.
first day, the first call that day, he went to the property, in-person appointment, locked it up that day.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah. I think the good Lord has been on our side with some of these key decisions for sure.
That's awesome. So pivoting back to the Tamika deal, um, your lead manager calls them,
Uh-huh.
qualifies them. Does it get passed over to the acquisition manager? What does that process look
So
like?
the lead manager calls a couple times, no one picks up, and then I think the acquisition manager tried a couple more times, and then someone did pick up,
See.
and then just went from there down the direct acquisition process. So if the lead manager picks up, they're doing discovery and setting up an appointment for acquisition. If
Okay.
acquisition picks up, which is okay as well, you skip that interim step.
Yeah.
You just have acquisitions do discovery and then go right to the to the building rapport and then eventually to the offer stage.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. And then for her, what was the timeline on that like? How long did that take?
Um let's go back a second. So we started on April 20th with you guys.
Mhm.
Week 2 would have been the April 27th, so end of April. And I found a buyer for that property on Mother's Day,
Oh wow. When's Mother's
sight
Day?
unseen.
Wow.
Yeah. Yes. And while traveling as well,
Oh.
because we went to go, it was also my wife's mom's birthday,
Uh-huh.
and we went to go visit and spend time with her.
That's awesome.
And I took a little bit of time aside. I might have pissed some people off, but I took a little bit of time aside to close the deal, and that was amazing, right?
Yeah.
$50,000 on Mother's Day while traveling.
Nice.
Mother's Day was, I don't remember, when was it? Like the first or second week of
I
May?
have no idea.
I don't know. I think the cycle there was we probably worked the deal for about a week and a half, I would say.
Okay.
She came back at us with a rebuttal, and it was 4 siblings. So we had to get sign off from 4 siblings. That's why it took a little bit longer from offer to actually getting it locked up.
Gotcha.
But we did it.
What do you think factored into that? Like the lead being, I don't want to say easy, but easier. Because I mean, are you getting these type of leads with direct mail, cold calling in the past? What did that
I
look
would
like?
say there's definitely a difference between the direct mail leads and the PPC leads.
Okay.
Direct mail leads, you will get the truly distressed seller
Okay.
every now and then,
Yeah.
and you get tire kickers, and you get people that are bored, and sometimes they just
What
want
do you
to
mean
cuss you
bored?
out. Yeah, they literally. We get people that call us and just like cuss us out.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah,
Interesting.
oh yeah. Sometimes it's funny. You can't
Okay.
take you can't take it personal.
Yeah,
You know,
for sure.
I've had one Cuban guy call and say many vulgarities on the phone
Oh wow.
to me, and I mean, it's just to me, it's funny. But some people have too much time on their hands.
Yeah.
But PPC leads, we've noticed, are more. There's more urgency. There's more distress, and I think that's because you're not pushing direct mail to them. They're getting pulled into the business by proactively looking for a company that's going to make an offer in their home. So they're there and they're ready.
Yeah.
And so I feel like the leads that come in from PPC, that's why we feel like it feels like we have to be hawks, right? We have to be on them immediately. We have a WhatsApp channel where we communicate internally. So if a lead comes in through Resimply, we get a notification, and then immediately we have an alert in our WhatsApp channel, and we it's kind of like round robin. So whoever is available to take it takes it. Yeah.
I see. Okay, so you get the 4, going back to this deal, you got 4 sign-offs on this deal, and then it's just smooth sailing. Everything's perfect, is what you're telling me.
No deal. No, there's no deal has ever been smooth sailing. Like that was a leading question,
Yeah, I
right? There's
know.
no deal has ever been smooth sailing. I
Yeah.
mean, it's been unbelievable. And just when you think one deal is going to just be normal,
Yeah.
it's not. I mean,
Yeah.
with perfect example today.
Yeah.
Seller tried to screw us over for $1,900.
Yeah.
But no, it wasn't smooth sailing. It wasn't too bad, and it was actually the first deal that we locked up sight unseen,
Mm.
and that was nice. But the buyer is a very experienced buyer, and they know the area very well, and we had the pictures and we had videos, and so we try to make it as easy for the buyer as possible as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you assigned it to a buyer, waiting for were there any title issues, any issues
No,
upon closing day, or just
no major issues. I believe there
sense
might
it's
have been
done?
like some small utility lien or something, but nothing major.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So thankfully it wasn't a super bumpy ride.
And that was one of your biggest deals.
That was one of the biggest deals.
That's
That is the PR. That is the biggest deal so far.
great.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. So you close that deal, and then what else do we have in the pipeline here?
So we closed that deal. That was week 2, and then week 3 we landed another 2 deals.
Okay.
And one of them is our first novation.
Oh, okay.
And then the other one was a mobile home, which unfortunately we had to cancel.
Yeah.
But it was a foreclosure situation, sad situation, and we tried to help as much as we could, but the amount of debt owed on the property was
Oh,
just,
it would have been upside down.
yeah. So unfortunately, it didn't work out. But that would have been a small assignment fee anyways. So the big chunk comes from these three deals. The novation is we just finished making some renovations on the novation. So that's getting listed. They just took pictures today actually.
Oh.
That's getting listed very soon. And then we got two new ones today,
What's projected on the novation?
about 30.
Okay, not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
About 30 if all goes well. That's with a little bit of buffer room.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we just got two new deals in, two new leads in today that look very promising.
Tell me about those.
So one of them's a townhome in Homestead, and another one is in a very, very hot area called Westchester
Here in Florida?
in South Florida. Yes.
Okay. Have you guys established contact with them or what?
Yes, yes. We are on. We have already given an offer, and we are very close.
Okay.
Yep.
Awesome. Hopefully, when do you think you could lock those up? If it goes well. Best case.
Well, we try to make an offer and lock up on the first day. Obviously, that's the true goal.
Yeah.
But that doesn't always happen. I mean, I would say if everything goes well by early next week.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. So you've been with us for a few weeks now, right? We're going into, I believe, our April, May, second month.
Yep.
No. Yeah. We're like through our second month already.
Something like that.
Yeah, something like
Yeah.
that. Because you said April 20th.
Yeah.
What did we do right or do well these first few weeks here?
You kept us busy, man.
Okay.
Yeah, you guys brought in the leads. And the good thing is we had time, I've only been in business 8 months, right?
Yeah.
But we have some very experienced, like good people on the team, and that's why
Yeah.
we owe a lot of our success to our team.
So,
If you bring me the leads,
Yeah.
which you're doing, we're gonna close them.
absolutely.
Yeah, and I
you guys
think
are
so far the metrics are showing that we're doing a killer job. And I do want to point out that compared to direct mail, we've actually decreased our cost per contract by 44%.
Wow.
Yep.
Do you know the numbers from direct mail versus PPC?
Yep. So we're looking at average cost per contract direct mail is about 5,500,
Okay.
55 to 6,000, and then average cost per contract with PPC right now, excluding the one that we just canceled, but not including the two that we're about to lock up,
Yeah.
is about 3,100,
Okay.
which is amazing,
Yeah.
especially in a market where the average assignment fee is $27,000.
Okay. So you're putting in 3,000 for 27 out. So what is that? 9x ROAS?
Yeah, just about.
How do you feel about that?
That feels incredible. Bring me more leads.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
We're ready.
You mentioned team, right? Because obviously we can do our job of sending you all the leads, but it's a lot of your team that's also taking those leads and converting into deals, right?
Yep.
So we both know the importance of having a good team, being able to delegate and trust them with it.
Yep.
I'm curious on our end when it came to having to talk to Laura, having to talk to Matt on our team. What was that experience, right? What did they do well? What was your experience with them?
So to me, I gauge my experience with a service provider on the responsiveness and willingness to help. And I think both Laura and Matt have been absolutely amazing. If Matt's not around and we pose, and you too. I mean,
Yeah.
you jump into the Slack channels,
Yeah, of course.
and you'll tag Matt sometimes, right?
Yeah.
But you'll jump in, like you guys are there, and I feel like I have a true partner, right, in PPC,
Mhm.
and that that means the world, right? So knowing that we have support from you guys, which is what we need.
Yeah.
And if I have a question of why something is either not going right or now we're looking at expanding into another county, I know that I can go on Slack, ask the question, and someone's going to be there to respond and guide me in the right direction.
I'm curious, when you signed up, what were your expectations? Like, how long do you think it would take for you to close a deal? And what do you think the communication / experience would be like from our first initial call? Like right after you signed up, you log off Zoom, you I don't know, go get coffee or something.
Yeah.
What was going through your head?
So I think once you mentioned, which I don't think I've told you this before, but it's a small thing, but I think once you mentioned Slack,
Uh-huh.
I had a feeling we were gonna have good communication.
Okay.
I use Slack in all the in my during my entire career
Mhm.
and most recent years, I guess past decade. I was under the assumption that we were gonna have good communication,
Okay.
and I was also telling myself, do not bug Benji too much, okay? Because I tend to have a lot of ideas,
Yeah.
and but thankfully you guys were very responsive, and you are using Slack like
Yeah.
in the most effective way possible. Um, and so in terms of expectation require for response, that was I knew I had a good feeling that it was going to be there. That was going to be good.
Okay. So that's when it comes to the communication. When it came to the ad spend you're spending, because you're spending $8,000 per month plus management fee, which is about $3,000 per month. So that's
Mhm.
$11,000 per month
Yep.
in your head that you just committed to. Obviously, you weren't like too excited about that. So
No, that was scary.
yeah,
Yeah.
walk us through that.
Um so I expected we know our deal sizes, right? We knew our average deal sizes was about 27 at the time. It still remains in that range.
Do you know what it is now?
Yeah, it still remains in that range.
Okay.
It's about 27, 28.
Okay.
Even though we have ups and downs and some deals are way larger than others.
Yeah.
But it averages out to that. I wasn't expecting to have a deal in the first 2 months. So I was expecting to eat 20K. And then
Okay.
I was expecting to probably land a deal in month three. These were my expectations, right? I mean, not really rooted on anything, but this is just what I was thinking. Obviously you proved me wrong. Um, month three, I was thinking we would lock something up. Hopefully by the end of month two or month three, while we optimize the campaigns,
Uh huh.
that we were going to bring in leads that were actually qualified
Yeah.
for our county. And then we were going to see the cash by month four.
So you were willing to stomach basically almost 4 months of marketing
Yes.
to get this to work. If you could go back and talk to somebody that's considering doing PPC, do you feel like that's the right mindset to have? Or should they be like, hey, my goal is to close a deal in the first 2 months? And the reason why I ask is
Hmm.
because I talk to anywhere from 5 to 8 wholesalers a day.
Yeah.
Everybody says, give me the leads and I'll close them. Everybody believes that they're the best closer in the world.
Yes. Yes.
Cool. I'm happy. I'm glad you're confident. But for them, do you feel like that's the right mindset and expectation to have? And what expectations do you feel like they should have when
Yeah.
they're starting PPC?
I think that's a great question. I think I would have answered that differently before I started. And I did answer it differently
Yeah.
before I started. I think I would answer it now. I would say you should expect to lock up your first deal within, okay, there's context around this though,
Yeah.
right? Depending on your level of experience,
Yep.
right? So let's say you are a good operator, you're a good closer. I think you should a reasonable expectation is within 30 to 45 days.
I got a question for you. Who do you think PPC is not for? Who should not be running PPC?
Um,
Or you know that if they jump on, do PPC, like they're losing it.
I think if you're not serious about it, I don't think you should do PPC.
Okay. Serious in what way? Like doing this full time? Because,
PPC leads need special nurturing.
okay.
So you need to be ready to respond to if you're not ready to respond to a phone call in 60 a web form submission within 60 seconds, don't do PPC.
Okay.
We've we're not perfect, so we've made mistakes. I've lost leads. I could be here and tell you I'd sign another contract if we were in another dimension because we had the opportunity to, but it slipped through the cracks. 2 or 3 days, guess what? That lead's gone. So if you cannot commit to a response rate of within the first couple of minutes
Uh-huh.
responding to a lead and then starting that nurturing process,
Yeah.
I would say maybe PPC is not the right thing at this time.
Experience wise, what should their experience look like? Because you've only been doing this for 8 months, right?
Correct.
Wholesaling
Correct.
for 8 months. And what should their team look like? Can they do this solo? Can they do it? Do they need a team to do it? What does that look like? What is your
Yeah,
opinion?
I believe. Look, we're lucky that we have the right team members, and I've got the right people on the job, right? That
Hmm.
are able to nurture these leads, that are able to close these leads, that are able to do the right discovery and qualification. Um, Now that's not to say I do jump in on some of these, and
Yeah.
I've closed a couple of deals myself.
Yeah.
You could definitely do it on your own. I think. I just think that you have to be ready to. All markets are different.
Yeah.
So that's where I would turn to the PPC provider as the individual and
Mhm.
say, even if you're a solo operator, and ask them for their advice on how much should I expect to spend,
Mhm.
what should my budget be, and you guys did that for us,
Yeah,
okay?
100%.
What should my budget be, and how long is it going to take me to get some of these leads?
Yeah.
Because if you can close a direct mail lead, I think all a distressed seller is a distressed seller.
Okay.
There's different personas of distressed sellers. There's distressed sellers that have a lot of urgency. There's distressed sellers that need to sell within 30 or 60 days for various reasons, and there's some that just want to know the valuation of their home, and maybe they'll sell if, I don't know, something changes in their life in the next 60 to 90 days.
Yeah.
So there's different categories. I think any one person that's truly committed to finding an off-market deal can do it. I think they could do it with any lead source. And with PPC especially, I would turn to someone like yourself or the PPC provider they choose, which I would highly recommend they choose both
I
deals.
appreciate that.
Um, and just ask them, what should I expect? But I think no one should be scared from approaching an off-market deal and trying to help a distressed seller and find an
Mhm.
off-market property that works.
When it comes to budget, what budget do you recommend people starting off with? Because I have my own approach and the way I think about it, but I'm curious what you think about it as a client.
I'm gonna ask you that question as well.
Uh-huh.
I think it depends on market. I would
Okay.
say if you're in a highly competitive market like Miami-Dade County, I do not have experience with other markets. I would say you need to at least spend, I would say $7,000 to $8,000 a month,
Yeah,
excluding management fees.
I agree.
Um, that's what I would say, and get ready to pump it up if it's going well.
100%. The way I look at it is the exact same way. But I also try to identify like what is the goal. For example, if I know that the average cost per deal in a market like Miami-Dade is $3,000 to $4,000, I just as an example,
Mhm.
we can't just spend $3,000 to $4,000 and guarantee a single deal, right?
Right.
Now, in a perfect world, that it comes very close to that. But for me, I like to have a bit of buffer room, and most of the time, a client's not going to stay with me if I just generate them one deal, right? So for me, there has to be enough margin for them to look at this and then be like, oh, there's like a real ROI here in order for them to continue, obviously.
Yeah.
So, for example, I just had a client that I spoke with earlier today. He is based in Washington, right? Washington State. I told him as a strong, and mind you, his average assignment fee, his average profit per deal, because he also flips as well, is
Yeah.
$50,000,
Oof,
right?
nice.
So in my head, the first approach that I look at it is like, okay, well, if I get him a $10,000 cost per deal, he's still at a 5x ROAS and he'd be over the moon,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
But in my head, I look at it, I'm like, okay, if I can get this guy an acquisition cost and just set the expectation at $5,000 to $7,000,
Yeah.
so for every $5,000 to $7,000 you're putting in, he's getting $50,000 out.
Hmm.
To him, he's like, this is amazing,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, hey man, starting budget, let's just start off at 10 to 12,000. That way we have a bit of wiggle room. That way, if he closes 2 deals, he's
Right.
at 100 grand,
Right.
right? It's hard to say no to something that's generating you
Yeah.
$100,000 in revenue per month,
Yeah.
right? So that's my approach. The mistake that I see many wholesalers make is that they're just not spending enough or their expectations are wrong,
Okay.
right? So it's so crazy to me because everybody's like, how do I get the best ad? Yes, the ad, yes, the landing page, yes, your sales process, yes, your team is important. But when it comes to the marketing, if you spend enough to get the volume and you have the right expectations around it to sit through the beginning,
Yeah.
every marketing channel will work, right? So I was just curious on your end because most people, when you tell them, hey, you got to shell out $11,000 to $12,000 a month, there's a bit of hesitancy and it definitely turns people off.
What would you say? Let's say, I think, I think you alluded to this in the Washington example there, but if you know your cost per contract in a certain market, would you say that's a 2 or 3x that can determine your budget, 2 or 3x? Like, what's the formula to determine budget?
So I look at it as like, what is the average cost per deal? What is the average assignment fee? From there, I can calculate a like a ROAS, right? For
Okay.
example,
Yeah.
if I know that, for example, let's just say Houston, because I'm from Houston, I know it relatively well. Acquisition cost is anywhere from $3,000 to $3,500,
Okay.
right? Average assignment fee, whether you're wholesaling or flipping it, is around $20,000 to $30,000. Cool. So let's just call it in the middle at $25,000.
Right.
If I'm putting in 3,000, 3,500 to make $25,000 out, That's cool.
Yep.
But again, I just take that and I'm like, cool, I don't want to just get you one deal per month. I
Yeah.
want to get you two minimum, right? So you take 3,000, multiply by two, and then I like to like see where I can wiggle, because if a client's like, yeah, man, we got like all the money in the world, I just closed a 100K deal. I'm like, okay, well, realistically, minimum, we'd start off at 6, let's push for 8,
Yeah.
right? So it gives
Yeah.
me more wiggle room. And then when I see that works, I'm like, hey, man, let's just bump the budget up to 10 and see what happens,
Mhm.
right? Because
Mhm.
based on your numbers, we're projected to close this amount of revenue. So it's that compliance. And there's not really a formula for it. It's just, for me, I've been doing this for 6 years, so I kind of have a gut feeling.
Mhm.
And I can tell based off of the way that I talk to you or the client, the investor that I'm speaking to, I can sort of get a gauge of how good their sales ability is and how many leads that's going to take.
Yeah.
And eventually I'll factor that into, like, for example, if they're telling me they are doing Facebook ads and it takes them 50 leads to close a deal, I'm like, yeah, this guy probably can't close, right?
Yeah.
So I'll be like, okay, well, the average is 1 out of 10. Let's just call it for you 1 out of 15, 1 out of 20. Let's just double it,
Right.
right?
Right.
And it's a lot of gut intuition for me. And then eventually from there, I know that
Yeah.
it'll work.
Yeah.
Because on the other hand, if a guy comes to me and says, yeah, man, when we were doing PPC with our operators starting out, we were closing on 1 out of 5, 1 out of 8 leads. I'm like, okay, great. Like, this guy, he knows what he's doing. I can set a lower budget or maybe even have more wiggle room on that budget.
Right.
So it's not a formula. It's more so like a gut feeling.
Yeah,
You know what I
absolutely.
mean?
I think PPC is also a good stress test
Yeah.
to how good you can close.
It'll expose a lot of flaws. And
Yeah.
the reason why I say this is because it's like, if you have a wholesaler that is like so focused on acquisitions and nothing else,
Mhm.
it's like, great, they'll get a bunch of contracts.
Yeah.
But we both know contracts don't pay the bills. Closed deals pay the bills,
Yep.
right? So you'll expose, or I'll expose that, like, okay, they have zero dispo process, or they'll only wholesale.
Yep.
They'll
Yep.
only follow this one formula and only reach out to this one process. Um, and then on the other hand, if your acquisitions process sucks and your sales team can't close, it'll expose that. It'll expose that as
Mhm.
well, right? So the question is, how do you find an even balance of everything?
Yep.
And once you get to that point, it's pretty much smooth sailing. Because can you have 100% close rate? Sure, referrals, right? But now you can't scale that.
Right.
So there's a lot of
Right.
trade-offs that I see whenever I'm talking to wholesalers, and it's finding that middle ground is the way that I look at it.
Yeah. And that's why I think that's why I made the recommendation. We took the approach of giving ourselves a runway
Mm-hmm.
because it will be a stress test on your systems.
Yep.
And guess what? If you have the goal of continuous improvement, then you will continuously improve your system. We found gaps and weaknesses in our processes. We realized,
What did you see?
well, disposition. We're not very strong in dispositions.
Okay.
We've our JV partners love us, right?
Yeah.
We love them, right? They
Yeah.
bring us buyers, but we're spending a lot of money on JV. We
Yeah.
need to improve our disposition process, and so we started, right? Just once we realized it, we started improving dispositions. But
How did
that's
you
why
improve it?
we started building, well, one software. So people process tools.
Yeah.
So one software, we started with Investor Lift,
Okay.
which has been great.
Yeah.
So the buyer that we found today, that we're on the deal we're closing today, we found on Investor Lift.
Cool.
And the more direct buyers that we find, the better it is for the bottom line. So that's one of the things that we did. We started using new software. We
Mhm.
started building buyer relationships more, making more calls, understanding their buy criteria, and classifying buyers into certain categories and counties, and understanding the buy criteria of the size of the home, the square footage, the type of home, the area,
Mhm.
specific
The buy
neighborhoods.
box.
Some buyers are focused on just specific neighborhoods.
Mhm.
Some of them don't want to do, for example, any areas where there's reoccupancy certificates,
Mm.
which in Miami-Dade County, that's basically an inspection from the city before you close of
Yeah.
if there's any violations or whatnot. Um, and just building our buyer database. So we made changes to our buyer database. It's now more organized, outreach tool, and buyer database improvement.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So right now, that was a constraint in your business,
Mhm.
right? Dispo was a constraint,
Yep.
and would you say you solved it, or do you feel like it has room for improvement? Where do you feel like you're at
Man,
with that?
I never fully feel like we solve anything. I
Okay.
always think there's always opportunities for improvement. I think we can still improve more on Dispo,
Okay.
but I think Dispo is something that takes time.
Mm. Okay.
Um, the more buyer relationships we build, the more buyers see that we are here to partner with them, to provide customer service, to be
Yeah.
right by their side. Whether, let's say, there's a post occupancy, we are here. We're still working with the seller. We have not left you on your own.
Yeah.
If you buy from us, we're always there for you. We're negotiating terms for buyers. So I think you build those relationships and trust over time. And I think disposition is just something that's going to get better. And eventually, I think we'll need a full-time disposition person as well.
Okay.
Yeah,
How do you plan on going to find that acquisitions person or
the
disposition?
disposition
Yeah.
person. I don't know yet.
Okay.
I'm hoping that it would be through referrals, but if not, then I guess I don't know. You tell me, make a recommendation. I
I'm
don't
gonna
know.
be honest. I stay out of dispo.
Yeah,
That is not my wheelhouse either.
yeah.
Somebody can. I mean, I'll have another client that they run a dispo house.
Yeah.
But that's what they do.
Mm,
Would they share their secrets? Probably not.
yeah.
So for me, I'm marketing and acquisitions. I'll help
Yep.
you hire. I'll help you
Yep.
ramp acquisitions. But dispo, TC, all that stuff, I stay.
Yep.
Like, I'm not your guy for that. Okay, cool. So what's next? Where are you guys trying to take the company next? Because you guys are doing a good amount of deals right now. How many deals would you say you're closing right now?
We just did 8 in the past 4 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah. But remember, we came out of a dry spell, so we were on the wrong side of the average. Now we're on the right side of the average.
Yeah.
I'm expecting with the system that we have right now and PPC, we can do about 5 to 6, I think.
Okay.
Just based on the numbers and based on our closure rate and what we see, I think we should be able to expand to 5 or 6 per month.
What do you feel like you have to do to scale to 5 to 6 deals a month?
I think we need to crank up PPC a little bit.
Okay.
Wow, and I want to expand to another county as well,
Okay.
an adjacent county.
What made you decide on that county?
Well, it's the nearest county, and South Broward is also a hot zone as well.
Okay.
And my partner, is very familiar with it as well.
So your process when it comes to expanding into markets is pretty much adjacent / comparable?
Well, that's a good question. The reason that that's the current approach is because we want to do as many in-person appointments as we can.
Why?
We just feel that it's better for building relationships with the seller.
Okay.
So, you know how in real estate they say location, location, location?
Yeah.
For
Or at
us-
least Grant Cardone says that. Yeah.
10x.
Yeah.
Well, for us in acquisitions, I think the key to success is rapport, rapport, rapport.
Okay.
So from the first initial phone call, we're trying to have genuine conversations and build a genuine connection with the seller, truly try to understand their pain points and try to build rapport wherever we can. I think we do that better in person.
Mhm.
Now, obviously, there's very successful virtual wholesale companies out there, but I think building rapport is very important. So right now, we're sticking to adjacent markets.
Mhm.
Another thing to consider when you're expanding markets, there are many aspects to that of the business after locking up a deal. So, for example, you need to, if you have the right tools like Investor Lift or Investor Base, you are able to find buyers in the area, but you'll need a property runner to help with the showings. You'll need a title company, an attorney probably,
Yeah.
et cetera, et cetera. So before we expand into a market that we can't drive to, we have to make sure we set those things up first. And that's why I'm just going slowly, but surely Miami-Dade first, now Broward, and then maybe we'll start looking at like Central Florida, or even other states.
Long term, I guess 6 to 12 months. I guess that's not long term, but in the shorter term,
Mhm.
how big are you guys trying to scale this thing?
So right now, I think the goal is to keep the wholesale operation. There's other businesses that we want to stem off as well, but the goal is to keep the wholesale operation to 6 or 7 people max.
Okay.
Not too big, and to do 10 deals a month
Okay.
or maybe even more, depending on how good we fine tune the marketing channels.
Is the goal to delegate that and just have it cash flow without you, or what?
Eventually, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then where are you going after? Are you going into multifamily development?
I have an itch for
Software.
I do have an itch for software. But now I have less of an itch for software because I think AI is changing the software as a service market.
Yeah. Do you
Especially,
remember our first conversation?
yeah,
How you said you wanted to go into software?
yep.
Yeah.
I think
that's why
that's
I brought
changed.
that
And
up.
but
Yeah.
look how much things have changed in a month and a half.
Yeah.
And now I'm seeing it with a lot of companies and successful companies, like billion-dollar companies,
Yeah.
where AI is just I wouldn't say making them obsolete, but it's making it harder for them to compete. And I think that's just going to get more difficult and more difficult. So software, I'm not as motivated right now. I do want to get it more into buy and holds,
Okay.
and I want to get into education.
Okay.
There's something that I love about just trying to build something and fucking up a lot, and then showing others the journey so that they don't have to go through that.
Okay.
I just love that. Like I wouldn't even do it um to become wealthy off of that. I want to, I want to build wealth through real estate, through assets.
Yeah.
I want to do that to give back, and just because it's fun for me. I do not mind getting in front of people and saying, "Hey, this is what I tried to do." And I've had instances in my past where people didn't believe in me. When I was in college, I was a good student, but even the career services director, when I wanted to get into one of the top consulting firms, which I did end up doing, by the way,
Can I ask
uh,
what it was? The consulting firm?
IBM, IBM Global Business Services.
Oh
It
wow.
was ranked like number 10 at the time.
Wow.
Yeah. It wasn't a McKinsey or whatnot, but
Yeah.
no, I'll take number 10. Okay.
Yeah.
So top 10 was fine at that time. They told me that basically I didn't have a shot. Okay.
Mm.
Because I remember I had bought this book. I think it was called The Vault, like the top 50 consulting firms in the US.
Mhm.
And I had made that decision. Remember, I had come off the business failure, and I said, well, if I'm not going to do this business, I at least want to get into an awesome career. And so I said, well, I'm going to get into consulting. Finance was, probably should have gone into finance, to be honest with you. But,
Investment
oh
banking
man,
or something?
investment bankers are,
Yeah.
I mean, but I decided to do consulting, and the career services director kind of telling you that, hey, you're probably not going to have a shot getting to these top firms, because Florida International University has changed a lot over the past 20 years. I think it's won many awards or whatnot. It's an amazing institution. But back then, like, these firms didn't really look at that school, right?
Mm.
And then I remember interviewing for a school project, my friend's dad, which was a consultant for Accenture at the time. And man, that guy just basically tried to kill my dreams too.
Wow.
He's just telling me, hey, certain people are born for certain things. Like, what?
How do you navigate that?
That didn't stop me. That just gives me more power. So I said, I'm going to read every damn book out there. I'm going to do everything that I can. And I went to, I remember there was a school fair, and I saw an IBM booth, and I started talking to the rep or the recruiter. They weren't recruiting for consulting, but I think I made such an impression on her that they then called me back and invited me to Washington, D.C. to interview for 2 days to an interview event. And I nailed it. I was one
Mm.
of the top recruits.
Wow.
And that's how I got hired. And then I moved to Washington, D.C. for 12 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. And then you ultimately found real estate or I'm curious how you found your the current role you're in.
Um, so I did some consulting for the government for about 6 years. Actually branched off and was independent. I was a subcontractor for a prime contractor. And I wanted to build that business, but under that contract, there wasn't really opportunities. And then I found the tech world,
Okay.
and I started building program management teams.
Okay.
So program management for the technology side of the house, software development, etc. And then I just, built and managed teams. I got into security. I was a security program manager for a bit, and then I had managed managed a security team. I managed a security detection and response team
Mm.
for a little while for a tech company, and then I found this job about a year and a half ago, the full time job that I have.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Is your plan to eventually step away from it?
That's a good question. I think to fulfill my goals, I think eventually I might,
Hmm.
but nothing in the short term.
Okay.
You
That's
know, I
good.
think I see myself still being there for at least another couple of years.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
it's
Okay.
very difficult to leave a steady paycheck, especially when you have a new family.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way I'm doing that to them.
Yeah.
So the trade-off is I don't sleep a lot, and I get stressed out a lot.
Yeah.
But I try to give myself as much self-love as I can. I try to, work out when I can.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Awesome. Okay. And then you talk a lot about mistakes, right? I'm curious, what did those look like, especially on the real estate side?
Well, that first build that we embarked on in Cape Coral
Mhm.
was, I think we just went for the turnkey route, the easy route, and I think we didn't do enough due diligence there. And then on the wholesaling side, or we also buy some of the properties and renovate them as well. Right
Mhm.
now, we just closed on a deal this week where we're doing
Nice.
a renovation in that Westchester area
Oh,
that I was
nice.
mentioning. Yeah. Um, sometimes you do. Sometimes we've made mistakes of. I think this is just because we're a startup, but from a maturity level perspective, like we have not followed up with leads.
Mhm.
We haven't valued properties correctly.
Okay.
That's happened a couple times where we had to go back for a reduction, which I don't like doing.
How come? And the reason why I asked is
Yeah,
because sometimes that's some wholesalers' entire strategy just to get the deal.
I don't know if I'm gonna get heat for this by mentioning this, but look, sometimes reductions are valid, right? It happens all the times. Even on a retail transaction in real estate, if you find something that you weren't expecting, oh, the
Yeah.
roof has a leak during
Yeah.
the inspection,
Yeah.
like the buyer's gonna go back for a reduction. We don't. I do know some people that I think I think unethically
Yeah.
um, lock up something so everyone's competing for a deal. I
Yeah.
think there are some people out there that start off with the intention of winning over a deal and getting it under contract at a higher price just because they're the highest price
Mm-hmm.
and they have full intention of going back for production.
Yeah.
We never do that. I try to give the maximum allowable offer that we can, and we don't go above that. I just don't feel it's right. Do I lose some deals because of that? Sure. And it kind of sucks. But that's why I go back to rapport.
Mm-hmm.
We are there, we are in person. You are seeing that we are good, genuine people and that we really want to help. Whether it's a cash deal, whether it's an ovation where we actually put up money. I just put up $4,000 last week on an ovation to fix up to spruce up the property
Mm-hmm.
before listing it. Or we also offer the straight listing because why miss out on that? So you're going to get the full spectrum from us. Obviously, we're going to come off the bat with the cash offer, but depending on the seller persona type, we might switch to innovation. We might switch to just a straight listing.
Gotcha.
But one thing that we try not to do is try not to go much higher than the MAO, knowing that we're going to go back for reduction later. It just feels wrong.
I see. And the reason why I asked, like I said, is because people do that. They preach about it. They brag about it.
Yep,
And
I
to
know.
me, it feels a little slimy, and it gives this industry a bad reputation.
Absolutely.
So it's good to hear that you don't do that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you eventually want to get into more buy and holds. I'm curious, have you looked at some of the deals that we send you and thought about buying those?
Yes, absolutely. But right now, I'm reinvesting every dollar back into the business.
Okay.
Yep.
At what point will you take a step back, look at it, and be like, I want to acquire these deals for myself?
I think once we have 500,000 in the bank,
Okay.
it's fine. I want to give enough. I want to give enough room to expand marketing with you at least 2x over the next 3 to 4 months.
Okay.
Okay. So we're gonna go from I think we're at like 9 now. I think I
Yeah.
want to hit 20 at least. And then eventually we'll get to 30. But I think short time frame within 6 months we'll get to 20, hopefully 2025. And I want to give room to hire some more folks as well.
Cool. I
So
want to talk about the numbers, right? Because you mentioned you're spending about 8 to 9 thousand a month right now.
yeah.
Um, how many leads do you think you're getting, or how many leads are you getting per month? Out of that, what is your lead to contract rate, average assignment fee? Let's ruffle some numbers.
So right now our current cost per lead is about 260, I would say,
Okay. Yeah.
give or take a little
Yeah.
bit,
Yeah.
which is
So
good.
yeah.
And we're getting from 9,000, I think it was $9,400 we did in 1 month. I think we got like 39 or 40 leads,
Okay.
something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know, divide 9,400 by 260
Yeah.
and something there, high
Yeah.
30s.
Yeah.
Which I think was amazing.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting that at all.
Yeah.
And then the more amazing part was $9,000 yielded $90,000 of revenue.
That's 10x ROAS.
It was 10x. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is that pending or is that all closed? Because I know you said 50 closed,
There's
30s
no,
closing Monday.
there's 62,000 of that
Uh-huh.
closed.
Okay. So you have another 30. Is that the one on Monday?
Yeah. No,
Okay.
that's the novation.
And when's that one closing?
Um, Probably July.
Okay. And then you have two other ones that you're working with today.
Yes. That's
S-
another 60 right there.
So you got,
Oh, do the numbers.
yeah.
So we've spent about 11,500 as of yesterday.
Hmm.
We're at 90 plus pipeline revenue. Okay, so
Yeah.
full realized and pipeline,
Yeah.
we're at 90 plus 60, 150. Okay, so
Wow.
call it 150 out of 11,500.
And the goal is to scale to, because you said you want to close 10 deals per month, averages $27,000. That's 250K.
Yeah,
So exactly, yeah. Because I was trying to in my head calculate how much we need to double your or how much we need to spend in order to get you there. So if we hit 20 and 25,000, we'd hit it.
let's do it.
Yeah, there we go.
I'm ready.
Awesome. There's somebody out there right now
Yeah.
that wants to become a wholesaler. They are interested in the business model. They are more interested in what the business could bring,
Mhm.
right? Like them, like similar to you, they have a family, they have a job right now. How do they balance that? Because you have so much things going on your plate. How do you balance all of this and show up every single day?
Um, have an amazing wife.
Okay, that's awesome.
um, I would say you need to plan out your days. Like
Mm,
my day's not planned out to a T,
okay.
but I've got my time separated for dad duties because ain't nobody taking that away from me. That's
Take me through your day.
my day is wake up at about 6:30.
Okay.
Okay.
Eastern, okay.
Not too bad.
Yeah.
Okay. That's because our son wakes up around that time. 6:30 or 7. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, give myself a little bit of leeway. I need my sleep. I don't know. I'm not one of those people like Tony Robbins. He can go 4 hours
Yeah, I
with
can't.
sleep, and like that dude can be on stage for 20 hours. It's crazy. I can't. I need sleep. So 6:30 to 7. Then it's dad duty time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, dad duty time consists of getting ready and then taking my son downstairs, making him breakfast, and just hanging out with him for a little bit
Yeah.
until around 9. Then, well, also at the same time, I'm doing some calls.
Uh-huh.
So I'm doing some calls for Buying Hero. I'm doing some text messages. I'm seeing if there's any like contract work that's needed because I'm also doing transaction coordination,
Oh,
which
okay.
is something I need to get off my plate.
Yeah.
I'm wasting a lot of time on that.
Yeah.
Not wasting, I'm spending a lot of time on
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So working on some deals and spending time with my son, giving him breakfast. Then around 9, it's game time. Start my job, start working on my job at the same time, checking in on Buying Hero. So I've got 3 monitors,
Yeah.
and
Remember that.
I context switch the whole day until
Yeah.
like 5 p.m. I'm on calls for my job. I'm on calls for Buying Hero. I'm checking in with the team, making sure things are going smooth. If a PPC lead comes in, I'm probably in there doing some analysis as well,
Mm-hmm.
just out of curiosity and to help out if needed. Doing a lot of coordination, working on buyer relations, working on JV relations, dispoing deals, you name it. And just making sure that I'm there for the team. And then I'm doing my job too. So complete context switching, which is, if I were to be honest, very mentally exhausting.
It is. It is so mentally exhausting.
And then I get uh, I don't know if it's a true break, but then I get a break of all of that around 5 or 6, depending on the day, sometimes 6:30, depending on what's going on, what meetings I have. And then it's dad duties for another, 2 to 2.5 hours,
Mm-hmm.
which that's the time that I just disconnect from everything and just spend with my son playing. He's 19 months old, so he's basically just running around pointing at stuff. And I'm
Yeah.
like, cats,
Yeah.
lion.
Yeah.
But it disconnects me, man. And sometimes I'll say fortunately and unfortunately, a call will come in and, I'll have to probably deal with something going on some deal, right?
Yeah.
Some challenge. And and then he goes to sleep around 8, I think,
Yeah.
8 or 8:30, I would say.
Yeah.
And then now it's back on the grind. Some days I take a break and I'll just watch like a movie or something. But most days we'll have a team meeting late at night, like 9 or 9:30. That'll go for like an hour. That's once or twice a week. And then I'll also start working on some of the, just messing around with some AI stuff, trying to
Yeah.
build something, trying to automate some workflows, seeing. So during the day, you work on the business, and at night, you work on improving the business.
Yeah. I
Uh,
see. Okay.
how is it? How is it for you? I'm curious. You don't have to tell me your whole day,
I'll
but
tell you my
like,
entire day. I don't mind.
I'm curious. Yeah.
Yeah. So I, oh man, where? So I typically wake up. What time do I wake up? I typically wake up around 6:30 to 7 as well. It used to be worse. I used to wake up, dude, back in 2024 when I didn't have to do anything. I was waking up at like 11 a.m.,
Yeah.
doom scrolling for an hour. I'd go to the gym from like 1 to 3 p.m. in the afternoon, come back home, doom scroll more, order Chick-fil-A for dinner, and then go straight to bed. Like that was my day, but not anymore, unfortunately. Actually, fortunately, a lot of my days now
Right.
is 6:37. I typically wake up, um, and I go straight on the computer, and I have something called a morning checklist.
Okay.
Right? Like I go straight. I don't drink water. I don't do any of that. I
Yeah.
just go straight to the computer, which is not good, right? And I have a morning checklist, so it's just a checklist of every single thing. It's um, our accounting, our marketing slash sales dashboard, our client success dashboard. So basically, it's every single client, all their metrics,
Right.
and then I'll go through Slack. I'll go Slack, emails, text messages, and then I have a beginning slash end of day report. So like your sales team, you would have like an end of day report.
Yep.
I, for myself, have a beginning of day report, right?
Okay.
And that beginning of day report is just documenting everything I did yesterday, right? So, what day is it? What did I do for bulk deals on the acquisition and client success side? What did I do for the ventures division? Because I do others. I have a. We can talk about it as well. That's something else I do um, outside of the agency, and then the media. So what am I doing to scale media?
Yeah.
What I do personally, I track all of our numbers. Like I just send the numbers back into the report. I talk about my action items for the day, and then those action items that I write out are actually just copies of the night before, and I'll explain in a second.
Okay.
And then from there, that typically takes me about 15 minutes after I just clear all the admin, just get it out of the way. It's easy, it's low friction, it's a habit now,
Yeah.
right? And that's really starts to get my brain flowing because I'll see something in Slack, I'm like, cool, let's get on that, right? And then at 8 a.m. from 8 to around 9-ish is my client success meeting, right? So that's me hopping on with the entire team, and then we're gonna go over every single client account, every single Slack channel, and uh, ad account, right? Because the ad account's integrated with the client hub, so technically I just check the client hub. That way
Yeah.
we don't have to
Yeah.
open up every single
That's
one.
why you're so good at responding.
Yeah, so I
You
just
go
see
through
everything at once.
everything in the morning. Yeah.
If
Okay.
so, I had one client actually call me out, dude. He was like, "Hey man, do you time block your messages and communications?" I was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "I typically see that your most in-depth replies
Yeah.
are always either in the morning or very late at night." And the answer is yes, right? When it comes to like bumping stuff, yeah, that's not gonna take forever. But if I have to like sit
Yeah.
down, pull reports, and that takes me a bit more time. So, anyways, I complete the client success meeting, and I'll typically have like breakfast. I eat the same thing every day. It's egg sandwich, right? 4 eggs in a burger bun. That's it. And then from 9 to noon is just chaos. Just whatever happens, happens. So it's probably either a client. It's most of the time it's a client success meeting, or
Mhm.
excuse me, a client success call. I'll meet with a client basically.
Right.
It's what it is. I'll on some days like Mondays I have a meeting with the media team. So and then I'll have I'll have a meeting with a potential client. So it's just meetings,
Yeah.
right? From noon ish, I will have lunch. I eat the same thing. It's a burger every single day. I go out to the
Same
grill.
thing every day.
Yeah, every single day. I don't want to think about what I want to
Yeah.
eat. I
Yep.
just want to do it. And then from noon to around 3-ish, chaos again, right? So it's meetings, meetings, and more meetings,
Yeah.
right? And then I'll have, if I don't have meetings, I will turn that into like a content recording session.
Mhm.
For example, like my apartment's my own studio as well, so I'll just stop the cameras. I have an hour. I'll just bang out a YouTube video or something like that,
Yep.
um, or whatever the case is. And then so from from 9 a.m. to around 3 p.m. is just meetings and whatever happens happens.
Yeah.
After 3 p.m. is when things start to slow down. So I'll typically just focus more on deep work. So more of my admin work happens here. So this is Following up with the accounting, following up with team and their requests for whatever they, it's just admin work, just stuff that I don't want to do, that I just push it to later in the day when there's more like silence.
Right.
um After that, I'll typically go out for dinner, and dinner as in like I'll buy a steak, I have rice, I'll go out to the grill, make the steak, slap it on the rice, boom, there's my dinner. And then it gets back to more concentrated deep work. So if I have to finish recording another YouTube video, if I have to script a YouTube video, if I have to just something, like
Yep.
there's always going to be something. I'll do that. And then towards the end of the night, I don't know if you know this, but I'm also a pilot. I'm a student pilot, right?
No, that's awesome.
Yeah, so
Wow.
I'm in the process of completing my private pilot's license. So I try
Yeah.
to allocate about an hour to an hour and a half a day to just studying for that thing. And then yeah, and my favorite part is that once I'm done with that, I just do whatever I want. And most of the time, it's me on Cloud Code. Like I'm just on Cloud
Yeah.
Code,
Yeah.
and I got a YouTube video playing in the background, and I'm
Yep.
just jamming away. Um, and then yeah, and then after that, it's probably, let's just say, like 9 p.m. and I'm like tired of Cloud Code. I'll just doom scroll for like an hour. I
Yeah.
know it's a guilty pleasure.
Yeah.
I love doom
It
scrolling,
is.
and a
Yeah.
lot of the stuff I'm
It
doom
gets you.
scrolling. Yeah, I'm really just doom scrolling like jet videos, like just private jets, because I'm
Yeah.
like obsessed with it. Um, and then yeah, I will typically, right before I go to bed, I will plan out my action items and calendar block
Yeah.
the things that I need to do
Yeah.
tomorrow. So I typically have so I have everything on a like sticky notes, because I can put it in my pocket, I can have it in my pen in my pocket. And the reason why that works really well for me is because it forces me to prioritize the most important task. Because if it's not on the sticky note, I will probably not do it,
Huh.
or it's not important enough. It hasn't earned its right on my sticky note or
Yeah.
my time. So I typically have about 3 to 5 things every single day on that sticky note. I'm like, tomorrow this needs to get done. Like
Yeah.
if I don't do anything else, these need to be done before I go to bed. Um, and yeah, I'll typically go to bed anywhere from 11 to 12
Yeah.
every single night. Um, yeah, just repeat the same thing the next day. Mondays, I have Bible studies, and then weekly schedule from Monday to Friday, it's work. I prioritize Saturday for just nothing. I will do nothing on Saturday. I like to keep Saturdays as my days
Okay.
where I am free. And then
Okay.
Sundays, I treat my Sundays as if they were Mondays, right? So my Monday starts
Okay.
on Sunday.
On Sunday.
So
Okay.
like I go to
Yeah.
church, I get home, I might have a flight lesson or something. So around like 2 p.m., that's Monday to me. So I
Got it.
just do everything that way. When Monday hits, I'm already ahead.
Wow. So I was gonna ask you as you were going through this,
Yeah.
I was gonna ask, how do you maintain mental fortitude? What is your
How would you define mental fortitude?
well, when you said Saturday, you just, it's kind of like your break day. Um, I see that as contributing to mental fortitude, but how do you just maintain how do you like, what are your stress levels like? And how do you maintain mental health?
Right now, it's a lot easier. I don't have mental health issues, or I'm concerned with it as much, because I like things that I do on a daily basis. Like I love it. Like I have zero problem with it. I don't get
Yeah.
burnt out doing podcasts like this with you,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? So I could do these all day long. I could do these 5 of them back to back, no questions asked,
Yep.
right? Um, but for me, it helps that I do things that I enjoy doing. But it's also giving myself permission to do what I like. For example,
Yep.
everyone that is like close to me knows, like, if we're hanging out, I'm probably gonna watch some plane videos, like people flying. Like that is my thing. So it's really
Yeah.
giving myself permission to do those things.
Yeah.
Um, if you were to ask me starting out, when I was really struggling mentally, it would be to have a hobby, because I would skip meals. I would like neglect family, all this stuff just to work.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I remember Saturdays, weekends going by, and time would just go by like so fast.
Mhm.
I remember a time when I was like 17. Um, we were towards the end of the month, and it was like for a holiday or something. And in my head, it was still like the second week of the month. So half the month went by and I didn't even know because I was just so locked in.
Yep.
Um, so right now for me, I don't really struggle with mental health because like I love flying.
Yeah.
That definitely like clears my mind a lot.
Yeah.
I love hanging out with friends. Like
Yeah.
for example, I live in an apartment and if I can not leave for like an entire week and then be okay.
Yeah.
But mentally, I'll go insane. So every single day, I try to get out of the house and socialize with people, like my friends, and that helps out drastically. Going out of town helps me out a lot because the way my brain operates is that if I stay in a place without traveling for more than like 2 months,
Yeah.
I will lose my mind, right?
Yeah.
So like I use this as an excuse to get out of the house.
Exactly. Yeah.
Um, so what I would recommend is identifying things that truly make you happy. For me, that's flying, hanging out with friends, just acting like kids. Because
Yeah.
like I'm not gonna say like I'm a perfect person. Like I do dumb stuff. Like I'm not gonna get into it, but like there are things that me and my friends do that are really dumb, and that to me is like really fun,
Good.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um. So yeah, do things that you like, find what works for you, and stick to it. Like I'm not gonna put a time limit on hanging out with my friends,
Yeah.
right? So that's what I would say.
That resonates.
Yeah.
That resonates a lot because if you love what you do, and that's kind of a journey that I'm on now, right?
Mhm.
Like I can, it might not be the most fun thing in the world, but I could be researching a property late at night and the hours just fly by. I start looking at neighborhoods and rehabs and start calculating MAO and, then watching YouTube videos. Like, I love this stuff,
I mean,
you know?
I've had clients I've hopped on with clients in the middle of the night just because they were up and I was up, and luck of the
I
draw.
noticed that about you. I
Yeah,
think we did that one time.
yeah.
Yeah.
So for
Yeah.
for me, it's just like I don't like I enjoy doing it, which
Yeah.
is why it's not like, oh, do you I feel like mental health issues occur when you're in a state where you're doing something you truly hate, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Because if you were to ask me about like work-life balance, my answer would be just like work hard 6 days a week and have one day off,
Mhm.
right? That there are some people that want to work 7 days a week. Go for it. I don't care. Like it's your
Right.
life. Do whatever you want,
Right.
right? I'm not. There's no harm or foul in that. But for me, I love having Saturdays to hang out with my friends, to go flying, to go to church, and do whatever I want to,
Yep.
right? And just do something. I'll find
Yeah.
something to do,
That's a
right?
good balance. Yeah,
Um,
that's a good balance. For
and
me, it's
then
Sunday. Like I do that on Sunday. I
yeah,
just I just disconnect.
yeah.
And then the rest, it's like, hey, I might work on a deal on Sunday. Who knows? But like if you
But
love doing it,
yeah.
you're not really forcing yourself to do it. You just kind of like do it because you're very interested in it.
And I feel like when people are starting out in business, that's how they are, or at least the way I was, is I would purely just work 7 days a week, 24/7.
Yeah.
And I think, I would say I'm at a different stage in my life and in my business where it's like, how do I allocate my time, energy, and attention to higher leverage things, right? Talking and working with clients is a high leverage thing, right? Like, can I delegate this? Absolutely. But it's just like, it's hard to delegate a relationship that you've had with a client for like 3 years.
Yeah.
It's just not going to look well. So for me, it's a lot of chaos, and I am privileged enough to have gone through the experiences to help me make better decisions. For example, if I know that doing a specific thing, like flying out to a client, meeting them, meeting their family, is going to drive the business forward and strengthen the relationship, I will do that. Is it the most high leverage thing? Because I could also do it on Zoom,
Right.
but it's just not going to hit as hard. And I know that if I can't do it now, like I'm 21 years old right now. Most people would say like I'm in my prime years. If I can't do it now, I'll never be
Yeah.
able to do it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that goes for I don't ever tell myself that I don't have time to do something.
Yeah.
It's just not a priority enough.
Right.
Right. So because if I'm 21 and I don't have time now, when am I going to have time? Exactly.
Yep.
So it's not that people don't have time, it's just they don't prioritize it enough.
Right.
Right. Some
Right.
wholesalers like, I haven't I haven't hired another acquisition manager. Why? Oh, because I don't have time. It's like, what are you doing with your time? Oh, I'm closing deals. Okay, cool.
Right.
But do you think you can allocate a portion of that time? Because obviously, don't stop cold calling.
Yeah.
A portion of that time to hiring a cold caller and acquisition manager.
Yep.
And if so, would that drive the business forward?
Yep.
If the answer is yes, it might be a good decision to make that happen. So
Yeah.
that's the way that I look at it.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Cool. Um, Is there anything else? I love talking about this because I've gone through a lot of BS
Oh
myself
man,
and
there's a
I've
lot.
learned a
We're
lot.
probably gonna have to talk about the ventures thing that you mentioned
Yeah.
at some point. Like that sounds very interesting.
Yeah. So
Um,
when it came to ventures, I've realized that like, hey, there are additional things that I'm very interested in, besides running the agency. And me and my friends have this term called visioneering. It's like engineering, but with your vision. So it's
yeah.
really identifying like, what does your dream life look like, uh, 5, 10 years from now? Cool. Put yourself in that person. Like identify yourself as that person.
Mhm.
What is that guy's daily routine? How does he show up for his family? What is his religion and religious beliefs, if that's something you're into? What are your hobbies? Who are you hanging out with?
Right.
Like, just identify every single aspect of your of that dream life and start to step into that identity.
Yep.
Right? Everyone calls it like woo woo, manifesting, and
Yep.
all this stuff. Yeah, because I used to think the same way, but then I realized like in order for me to become that person that has these things I say in regards to like experiences, not just materialistic stuff, right? Um, you have to step into that identity and start living like that, right? Because
Yep.
the only reason why that guy's a billionaire and I'm not is because of a few decisions he's made and his perspective on life. That's how I look at it. Um, so going back to the point, I've realized that like in addition to um, running the marketing agency, there are additional opportunity vehicles that are able to expedite my speed to getting to where I want, right? For example, most of the wholesalers that I speak to, they don't want to be wholesaling for the rest of their lives. Most people don't, right? And I completely understand why. It's because it's a cash flow and it's high intensity hustle. That's
Right.
all it is, right? Um, but they want to eventually get into more high leverage opportunities, for example, multifamily development, things like that, right? And as a result of that, you have to take the cash flow, take the experiences from this original business and apply to that business. So, for example, I really want to start acquiring companies and blowing them up because it's
Mm,
technically what I do.
yeah.
I'm just not buying your company, right? And we can talk about, I've looked at some sort of companies where I'm like, wait, if I just implement this,
Hmm.
I'll just tell you because it doesn't seem like it seems like you're somewhat interested, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Very.
so I used to struggle with acne really bad. And one of my biggest insecurities was my acne. And as a result, a problem that solved that was going to a med spa, like an acne clinic med spa, right? And as a customer who went through that in my business mind, I'm like, this business is like really, really sweet and profitable.
Mm,
So in my head, I'm just going through the numbers, going through the process, and seeing all this stuff. And I'm like, this might be an interesting business. So I built a great relationship with the owner of the business and I was just trying to wiggle my way for numbers. I just wanted
yeah.
to know, like, hey, how much are you spending on marketing? What's your acquisition cost? What is average order value? Average order value, think of it as like average assignment fee. How much are you making per deal per client, right? And then what is lifetime value, right? Because skincare medicine is a recurring thing or is reoccurring. It's one of those. And as a result of that, the revenue stacks up. So I'll just tell you the numbers. The one that I was at, the acquisition cost was about $50. Their lifetime value was about $2,800. So
Okay.
for every $50 that they're putting in,
Yeah.
they're getting $2,800 out.
Wow.
Same thing with wholesaling. If you look at a market and you're like, for every $3,000 you can put in, you can make $30,000. You're like, oh my God, how do I just spend more money?
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
I was talking to this lady, her name's Kim, and she's like, oh, we're not really doing any marketing. Like, we got a Google My Business listing. We have an Instagram that we post, and that's about it. And I'm just like, in my head, I'm like, so if we launch some ads,
Yeah.
this business could blow up. She's like, yeah, but we've struggled to do that. But that's just the service. They also sell products. So that adds on to it and it just goes on and on and on. And the point I'm trying to make is like, if I take the skills that I have right now, that you have right now, because you have the skill of building teams, leading teams, knowing how to hire the right people. If you apply that to another opportunity vehicle, but now you also own that business would provide exponential returns. Another thing I love doing is angel investing. So I am fortunate, and one of the reasons why I love running this agency is most of my clients are also not trying to wholesale forever. So they're trying to do other stuff. Some of them might have a software, some of them might have, a business, and they'll present me with that. So I also get deal flow from that.
Interesting. Okay.
So that is a benefit that I get transparently from running
We
the
will be
agency.
talking.
Yeah, absolutely. So
Abso-
so things like that. I feel, and this is my theory, I feel like every man has this like urge to gamble, but they don't want to be, they don't want to go to, excuse me, I'm not gonna speak for everybody. I don't want to be identified or labeled as a person that goes to Vegas, puts it all on black.
Yep.
That's just not who I want to identify myself as.
Right.
But angel investing is the same thing, right? Now, this might not be the best way to look at it. Obviously, make a smart decision, underwrite the deal properly, make sure the terms, conditions make sense, things like that. And it was pretty much a no-brainer deal. And ultimately, I committed to it, right? So things like that are the reason why I love
Wow.
what I do.
Yeah.
And yeah, I know we went on a tangent about me much, but
That's
yeah,
amazing. No,
yeah.
thank you. I appreciate that.
Of course.
Um, I
I'm an open book, man.
I love what you're doing. I mean, you are nonstop firing on all
Yeah,
cylinders.
yeah.
It's very inspirational, to be
I
honest with you.
appreciate that.
So yes, we could definitely, we'll have more discussions in the future, I
Yeah,
think.
we'll just hop on a meeting or something. Just
Yeah,
book. Yeah.
I'm down, man.
Is there anything else you'd want to leave the audience with, or you'd want to share?
I would say step outside the world of real estate investing, and I would just say that if you believe in yourself,
Mhm.
you can accomplish anything. And I
Right?
think that's where I was going, and I forgot. I've gone off on so many tangents. I
Yeah.
apologize. But when I was mentioning what I did during college of being able to join one of the top consulting firms where folks didn't believe in me, that's not the only time in my life where people didn't believe in me, and I have accomplished something. And I would say I've made a lot of mistakes, but if you believe in yourself,
Mhm.
that's that's everything that you need.
Yeah.
You literally, as long as you're able to understand this, you literally have a blank page in front of you. And you
Yep.
can write similar to how you're visioneering.
Yeah.
You can write what you want to do, what you want to be, and what you want your outcomes to be over the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years. It's a blank page. It's
Yep.
completely up to you. So I would step up if you want to get into real estate investing, if you want to just find off-market deals just for real estate investing, or if you want to start a wholesale company, or if you just want to do this on the side like I am doing and also try to build a business while you're at it, you can do it. Just believe in yourself, and consistency trumps all.
Okay, Jorge. So, where should people reach out to you?
So the best way to reach me is email Jorge, Jorge, at buyinghero.com.
Yep, that's it. Guys, Jorge, I appreciate you coming on, sharing your story, sharing,
Thank you, man.
of course, man, sharing what you did to scale your real estate business as well as your story. With that said, my name is Benjamin. I'm the CEO and founder here at Bolt Deals. If you guys enjoyed this video and you want to connect with Jorge, which you should, obviously we'll tag his email and put it in the description. You can reach out to him. But in the meantime, if you haven't already, please like, comment any questions you have, as well as subscribe. With that said, I'll see you in the next one. Have a good day.